just quickly say, when Andy was saying I wanted to enter the cannabis industry, it made me think briefly about how the cannabis industry itself is really the hemp industry, because there's hundreds of thousands of commercial products that you can produce with hemp, but the industry that we're all here for today is really the glandular trichome head industry, because that is where the medicine is produced, and that's why this extraction panel is so important, because the plant itself is a carrier that carries with it many bonuses. In hemp, it carries the cellulose and the fiber and the essential oil rich seed embryos. But with the resin, all of that medicine is located inside the glandular trichome head, and that's what the CO2 extraction is honing in on, and that's what all of my processes hone in on, and that's the basis of this entire medical, preventative, or recreational industry that we call the cannabis industry, but it's really just the glandular trichome head industry. So with that said, I wanted to introduce Nenad Yashruti from Root Science, who's specializing in molecular distillation.
And that's really when we started exploring molecular separation and distillation. We brought the technology in about 3 years ago and really had to dial in the parameters of the equipment that we were using. Once we figured out how you were able to basically target cannabinoids and leave behind the impurities and the undesirable part of the plant, we really thought we were headed somewhere with it. We contacted the manufacturer, which was VTA in Germany. They've been a global leader in manufacturing distillation equipment over the last 2.5 decades. And their equipment is used in petroleum industry, they're used in agricultural industry, and the pharmaceutical industry. So we worked out a deal with them to get exclusive global distribution rights in the marijuana and hemp markets for them. They saw our facility, they saw what we can do, and now our facility in Seattle has become the kind of the R&D lab for VTA's equipment and molecular separation. A filtered CO2 oil or hydrocarbon extract, and after it's been filtered, de-waxed, winterized, and decarboxylated, we run it through our system and basically are able to separate all of the, we can separate out the terpenes, we separate out the distillate, which a lot of people know it as clear up and down the West Coast. It's gained a lot of popularity.
And which is basically the phytocannabinoid profile.
You minus know better than me.
Yeah, that's what he said. The clear, the distillate is the phytocannabinoid profile minus the terpenes.
Right, and then we also separate out we call it the residue that leaves behind whatever excess fats, lipids, chlorophyll, anything that CO2 or hydrocarbon extraction couldn't take out, we finish off, and we're able to take 65% winterized and de-waxed CO2 oil, and we can purify it up to mid-90s THC, low 90s CBD, and then we can achieve 99% total cannabinoids consistently. So it's just kind of a different angle. I think the cannabis market, as young as it is, I guess in legalization, a lot of people haven't been able to map over old technologies or technologies that are currently used in other industries into cannabis yet. We kind of have that unique ability.
So let's take a step back, and I'm going to ask Andy if maybe he can take us through an average run, maybe explain to us some of the sizes of the chambers that he's operating with, some of the amounts that he's able to process, and just kind of walk us through the temperatures and the difference between sub and super. And then we can kind of, from there, once we've ended with your final product, we'll take it over to Nenad, and he can walk us through a molecular distillation in a little bit more detail than you just sort of gave.
We look at the, let's call it raw extract that comes out of hydrocarbon or CO2. They both look very different, and then alcohol extract looks even cruder. Actually, we don't support current forms of alcohol extract. It's a very violent extract. It brings across a lot of chlorophyll and heavy metals and things you just can't get rid of in the secondary or the tertiary process. So it's not something we recommend in today's current form. It'll char the glass if you're trying to distill it. It's just, people are attracted to it because the equipment's cheap and it gives what they think is a high yield, but really what you're bringing over is weight. And the weight isn't potency. The weight is the stuff you wish you would have left behind. So,
I like the idea of cannabis-derived terpenes. When he said strawberry flavoring, that generally comes from castoreum, which is from the anal gland of the beaver. Not sure if you want to be vapid on that stuff, but it's true. You can't make this shit up. Go Google it. I wish it wasn't true, but it is. Vanilla flavoring as well, and raspberry as well. It says natural flavoring.
So don't use those.
So don't use
How do you
those.
even know that? Why would you know that?
Well, I do a show once a week called Hash Church. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it. It's very educational. It's a panel of incredible people across the industry, much like yourselves, just wonderful people who are involved in this, and we have all sorts of different conversations. And that came up in extractions, because it's an extraction.
So should we start farming beaver?
Yeah. Well, or just use, if you want your clear to have a nice taste, put the cannabis-derived terpenes that were in the first place back in, because also you understand when you start hitting these distillates, these single, like for me, I think the importance of these monomolecular medicines like pure CBD and pure THCA, CBDA, are to be able to create ingredients to produce products that are going to produce results over and over again that are the same.